This is A News at 11.
Good evening. It is the season of giving, and an elderly Victoria man has found out just what that really means. He had no heat, no power, and nowhere to turn. So the 95-year-old called 911. And as A News reporter Andrew Johnson shows us, the two Victoria policewomen who responded to his plea treated him like family.
When Victoria police constables Jan Malinowski and Becky Pollock knocked on the door of an elderly man's Hillside Avenue condominium Thursday, they knew something was wrong.
All his lights were off, so we just checked the fuse box and it seemed to be okay.
He was a little bit confused, a little bit upset, so it took a little bit of time for us to kind of calm him down.
They quickly discovered the 95-year-old's power had been cut off and the unpaid bills were on the kitchen table, along with thousands of dollars in Canada pension checks.
He had been signing the back and endorsing them, and then for whatever reason, I think he just sort of felt a little bit overwhelmed and wasn't quite making it to the bank, I think, physically.
They say the man was starting to get cold, so they stayed with him for hours, cashed his checks, got the power turned back on, and got to know him.
The more time that I spent with him, the happier I got. He was just a good guy. He had a good sense of humor, and he seemed to be doing great.
Seniors advocates say the story is all too familiar, and it's up to all of us to keep an eye on the elderly who are living alone.
We do know that neighbors do watch out for neighbors. A lot of times, postal workers can determine when there is a problem.
Malinowski and Pollock have already paid a return visit to check on their new friend and found out he'll be alone on Christmas. Not anymore.
We're going to head back over there Christmas night and get some food and hang out with him and have some more laughs maybe.
Sometimes you go home and think, did I help anybody today? And this is one of the times where we really did.
An early Christmas gift one man will never forget. In Victoria, Andrew Johnson, A News.
The 54-year-old woman is in serious condition in hospital after she was found unconscious behind a dumpster in the Gorge Road area this morning. Police are trying to figure out just what happened to her. Someone called police around 6:45 this morning after discovering the woman. Police say she had very little clothing on and was severely hypothermic. It's not clear how long the woman had been lying there. Paramedics treated her at the scene for about half an hour before an advanced life support ambulance took her to Royal Jubilee Hospital. Investigators say at this point it's a mystery how she got there.
We have had detectives out, and we had our forensic identification services out as well to the scene. But the female's still in the hospital, still recovering from the hypothermia. We're just waiting to talk to her to find out all the circumstances around this. So we're just trying to piece everything together right now and just find out where she came from and how she found herself out there without any clothes on a very chilly night.
Police also can't say if the woman was left there by someone or if the incident is related to drug use. Officers say there is no obvious sign of trauma. The police have identified her, and there are no indications that she was homeless. People living in an apartment complex in Nanaimo are looking for another place to live tonight over the holidays because of a fire that burned them out of their home. The fire started around 9 this morning at an apartment complex in the 2300 block of Labio Road. When fire crews arrived, flames were pouring out from a window in one of the bottom suites. The tenant got out just before the place went up.
One male standing out in front that was quite covered in soot. Seemed apparent that he was the occupant of that suite. We sent him off to hospital for smoke inhalation. I haven't heard what was the extent of his injuries. We have our fire loss investigators coming to the scene, and they'll investigate and we'll assist with doing overhaul at that time, and we'll find out what happened exactly. I didn't get a chance to talk to the occupant, so I have no idea at this time.
No one else was injured. It took crews about 15 minutes to put out the fire. Now, the suite where the fire broke out was heavily damaged. 3 other units sustained heat and smoke damage. And the tenant who lives directly above the burning unit stepped out minutes before the fire broke.
I come back, the whole place is on fire. It's like flames are leaping from his window off my balcony, and first thing I thought about was my cat. I have a little cat in there, right? And so I went in, I got in, and I had to come out like within seconds. It was like just so black. I'm not going to be able to get in here. I won't be in here for a while. So I just want to see how my stuff is. I've got a lot of stuff in there, right? That's everything I own's in there. I don't have tenant insurance. I never thought about it. I mean, it's a pretty safe place normally.
Firefighters did find the man's cat. It was taken to a local vet to recover from smoke inhalation. Emergency social services were also on the scene, and they will find temporary housing for tenants. The maternity ward at Victoria General Hospital was locked down to all visitors this past weekend due to a third case of strep A that has infected 3 women in less than a week. The virus can be easily treated with antibiotics, but if left unattended, it is potentially deadly. A news reporter, Erin Glazier, has the latest.
3 new mothers have been isolated within the last 72 hours at Victoria General Hospital after contracting a vicious strain of strep A.
So this strain seems to go particularly for the genital tract, and so it affects women.
Wales says while none of the babies appear to be infected, all are being treated with antibiotics. But the outbreak has expectant mothers worried.
You don't want to get sick, especially after already going through such an, an intense thing, and then, being admitted with something else is awful.
All staff have been swabbed and say no unauthorized person is allowed in or out of the maternity ward. And each family is only allowed 2 screened visitors, while no children are permitted on the floor.
In rare cases, strep A can become fatal within just 6 hours. And that is why VGH is taking every precaution when it comes to new and expectant mothers.
We put a range of measures in place, including enhanced hand hygiene, enhanced housekeeping.
VIHA says strep A is widespread in the capital region right now and most commonly causes strep throat, ear, sinus, and skin infections. But new mothers are more vulnerable to infection. Their immune systems are altered, and most suffer some kind of trauma from childbirth.
We take them very seriously and we respond very quickly, but we don't anticipate this being spread further.
In Victoria, Erin Glazier, 8 News.
There was a rare sight in the sky tonight, that is, if you could see it. It's a lunar eclipse. That's when the moon enters the Earth's shadow. High winds, clouds, and rain forced the Royal Astronomical Coast Society of Canada to cancel its public event at Cattle Point. The few die-hard group of astronomy enthusiasts braved the weather, waiting until 10:32, the exact time that you could catch only a glimpse at the eclipse.
It's a very special event for me to be able to look the shadow created by the Earth and the moon going in the shadow. It's a called alignment, sun, the Earth, and the moon in a straight line.
There are basically 2 lunar eclipses a year, but this eclipse is the first in 372 years to occur on the winter solstice. That's the first day of winter, marked by the shortest day and the longest night of the year. Also braving the weather tonight, performers getting ready for the annual nativity play at Topaz Park. The performers are putting the final touches on their event with their dress rehearsal. Mary Beth Burton will have more on the 3-day nativity play tomorrow night on A News at 5. You probably heard the phrase, singing for your supper. Well, a group of Canadian musicians is doing just that. Eric Thompson has the story of how a performance at the Royal Theatre tonight is putting food on the tables of those less fortunate in Greater Victoria.
Hi, I'm Bruce Williams in Nanaimo. Had a little blast of wintertime, as in snow on some parts of the island today. Not much of that coming up for the rest of the week, though. Take a look outside at what's going on right now. I will come back with all the details with your Christmas week weather. That's coming up on A News.
Is it okay if I give you your gift early?
Sure.
I got you an Xbox 360 with Kinect. Yeah.
This week at Best Buy, get a Kinect sensor bundle for only $149.99, or give the gift of choice with a Best Buy gift card. Best Buy.
What does a family cooped up in a minivan for 5 hours sound like? Depends on the minivan. The all-new Odyssey. Perfect for life.
year, it's a quest for world junior supremacy. Each time our adversaries have knocked us down, Canada has fought back to the top. And with gold headed to our arch rivals on home ice, this year, expect nothing less. The World Junior Hockey Championship begins Boxing Day on TSN.
Taste pops with Pringles cracker sticks. Crackers turned into tasty, crunchy, baked sticks. Pringles cracker sticks. So delicious. Your mouth will be strangely attracted to them. Everything pops with Pringles cracker sticks.
Canadian musician Tom Jackson is in Victoria tonight, the final stop on his cross-Canada concert series, Singing for Supper. Proceeds from the show will help the Mustard Seed Food Bank provide hampers to people around Greater Victoria. Vancouver duo One More Girl is among several musicians featured in that concert series. Earlier today, some of the performers joined Tom Jackson for an impromptu performance at the Mustard Seed Food Bank. A News reporter Eric Thompson has the details.
This unexpected holiday sing-along is a welcome gift to the volunteers and clients at Victoria's Mustard Seed Street Church and Food Bank.
Our job is a wonderful job, as it is as performers. But our number one objective is to feed people. The payoff for that is to meet the people that we feed.
Tom Jackson has come to the Mustard Seed with some of the musicians featured in his Singing for Supper concert series. Proceeds from the concert will help the Mustard Seed provide more than 1,000 food hampers to families, couples, and individuals over the holidays.
It's a major component of awareness. It's a major component of bringing funds in to be able to operate into 2011.
This impromptu performance by Tom Jackson means a lot to the staff and volunteers at the Mustard Seed, but it is especially important to the clients.
It just means that Tom Jackson cares. He cares about wherever he goes.
Well, I think it's good
Inspiration for people. Good help to lift their spirits.
through the years, he's just become a very dear friend and a person that genuinely has a love for people here.
Jackson says the spirit of giving is in us all, and it can be a life-changing experience.
When events like today happen, it brings us closer to the understanding that we are part of a wind of change which is closing the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
In Victoria, Eric Thompson, A News.
CIVI 1070, so wanting to take the time. And there's a new total in from the CIVI Santa's Anonymous Miracle on Broad Street. The annual radiothon has now raised more than $151,000. CIVI Santa's Anonymous volunteers are already busy preparing hampers. Organizers say that today they received more than 60 requests from families alone, and they are taking care of as many of them as they possibly can. Wintry weather is causing major travel headaches in Europe, and it is affecting a lot of Canadians trying to cross the Atlantic for the holiday season. Europe's busiest airport, London's Heathrow, is expecting only a limited number of flights to arrive and depart today. Hundreds of travelers have been forced to camp out overnight in terminals. At Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport, as many as 40% of the flights are grounded. And the weather wars have also triggered cancellations at Canadian airports. Passengers are being told it could take days before lines at airports and train stations could get moving again. Comox Valley also got a dose of winter today, with just a day to go before the season is officially here. The snow started falling, and this morning by the afternoon, green had given way to white. The snow brought out emergency crews and tow trucks responding to one fender bender after another. But as A-News reporter Gord Curtis shows us, the snow is a welcome sight for Vancouver Islanders dreaming of a white Christmas.
It's been a busy day for first responders in the Comox Valley. Crews have been heading out in all directions, trying to keep up with a seemingly endless number of calls.
This is my third in approximately half an hour. Just drive time in between them, and I've driven by a couple that didn't require our attendance.
When the flakes started blanketing the area this morning, it caught many off guard. But officials like Courtney Fire Chief Don Bargonix knew instantly what lied ahead.
It's slick. It's the